anything here because I think I'm pushing my time right now. Let's see. Tell you what, we're right at 9:30, and I want to make sure I get everybody's questions. Let's see some questions from you. I'm sure you came here with some ideas or some myths, or you just want to throw an apple at me. I don't know. What questions do you have? And I know sometimes it might be a little more personal. If it is, then I will, of course, wait after the meeting this morning. You can see me mano a mano. Okay? That happens every time. But what do you have? What do you have? There's something I didn't cover that you heard that maybe we got the grants out of the way. The biggest thing with a couple little things. Number one, know your resource partners. You have them and probably didn't even know they were there. Many of them are right there in that little magazine. We even have the community colleges there. So check all that out. And if you don't know, I'll certainly find out what in your area is available to you. Secondly, with your lenders. Work with your banks. SBA is a bit of a guarantee. We don't today. So that says a lot for particular banks. So that means that they will talk. Well, but you go to your bank of account first. You give them their shot, give them their due, and then after that, then all bets are off. Then you can call me and say, okay, Ivan, I'm not going to recommend a bank, but I'll certainly tell you who our top banks are, or credit unions, or things like that, so that at least you have a nice variety that you won't get bounced out of the door just because. Things is every resource that we help to fund, which is your SCORES, your women's business centers, your small business technical development centers, all of these items, I want to emphasize, you do not have to get an SBA loan to use them. That is a time, any place. I use loan here. Would you go check this out? Cost the bank nothing, cost the client nothing, and many times we could save a loan. Keep that in mind, okay? Tell you what, I have charge of all of our SCORE chapters in my area, and I've already told them that. Now, if they haven't come and knocked on your door, that doesn't surprise me, but they can do that, and we've got good people in areas of concern out there. So, and if you don't know, call me. Done.
I'll start off with a question, Adam. There's been a ton of stimulus money, the banks, a lot of money potentially. Much is flowing.
I'm sorry?
Not much is flowing. Not much is flowing at all. What's going to change that situation?
It has. I've got good news for you. Our lending in February, March, April was all 56% from the previous year, falling right in what you're saying. But we just got our numbers out a few weeks ago. July was our biggest loan month in 3 years. 3 years. We've had some pretty good years in the past. So does that mean all bets are off? No, it does not. In fact, I tend to agree with an economist who was on TV the other night that says, we're going to see this, then we're going to see this. It's kind of like the W effect. It's going to be like a roller coaster ride. So for those of you that got your portfolio in the stock market, like a lot of us here, kind of keep an eye on things because it's just not going to be the old days. I'm really anxious to see what August is going to bring us, Dub. I am. We've got all of our people. I have a counterpart that's sitting in Wilmington, a counterpart in Asheville, and of course our district office in Charlotte, and all 4 offices are just covering the states, hitting the banks, training the banks, making sure that they at least know who we are. Okay? Now, again, as you say, Dub, but I'm hoping that be indicative of maybe what I'm the play.
Well, and part of that is out of your hands. That's what I want to do as well. But because we're looking at the economy down in the next 18, 24 months. It just keeps you from feeling like we go out on anything.
My personal experience is we're lending based on the history of the company. There are certain industries right now that are more challenging, but if there's a good history and a good track record, that's what we're going to look at. The one thing you mentioned is talk to your primary banker. I've talked to a lot of business owners. They tell me, and they're not my client. And I'll ask if you talk to your banker. I don't want them to think I'm not doing well. Your banker needs to know how you're doing. If you don't know who your banker is, if you don't have a contact, call your bank, find out if I have a need, who do I need to talk to. See if you can get an appointment with them for 5 to 10 minutes, tell them who you are, what you do, give them a little history, so the first contact with them isn't, I need money. They know who you are.
They know why you're there.
The relationship is becoming more important than ever. Whereas before, it used to be more of a numbers game. Relationship. I've had a lot more activity. I've had a lot more unprepared applicants. And I do the same, I guess almost like coaching.
Yeah.
You need to have a business plan. Those are the things I want to say. Did you really account for computers? Did you account for everything? And the planning part is the part of where you need your service provided. And that's part of the reason I'm here, is because I want to see what SBA has with times I can't help with traditional lending, is to have another option. And even if I had one I couldn't do, but we were able to go through a client, I'd say probably the 5th time in 10 years, came back after being declined and brought a copy of the credit report that I told them to get. A lot of times, if they're declined, they don't. I tell them, get the credit report, bring it in. I will go through it. I would assume most lenders would, to lay out a plan of attack. Talk to them about the credit report, what highlights are out there that they need to address first. And I've had a couple of people who take it to heart, and they came in, they contacted the lenders. A couple of them had some things wiped off their record. And that's where the relationship comes in.
And ladies and gentlemen, and I'll get you, again, I don't know of any of these resources that I've mentioned to you that will not tell you the same thing. I know that you have a checklist that you go over, and they're not going to let you out of their sight if they don't think you're prepared to walk into that lender. I mean, they know the local lenders in town, probably know them by first name, probably had lunch with them all the time. But the idea is preparation. In other words, it's like anything else. It's like when we were back in school or anything else. You come prepared. There's a lot of things to that Boy Scout motto, and good things are going to happen. Now, there's no guarantee you're going to get approval, but you're going to get talked to, and you're going to get serious consideration. And then, of course, if there's something that they can't do, they're going to tell you what that is, and it may be something that you can repair, like the credit report situation or anything else to that degree, or maybe come back to us and say, they said my projections were out of whack. All right, let's sit down and let's see what was out of whack here. And like I said, folks, it's only going to cost you probably the cost of parking your car. So use this stuff, please. Yes, ma'am.
Did I hear you say when you were referring to the veteran funds, that if you're the spouse of a veteran?
Yes, ma'am.
And the veteran's living, it's not a deceased, if you're the spouse of a veteran and you're 51%?
True to form. Why don't you call me when I get back to my office and confirm that? We've got so much that's been thrown at us right and left. I'm not quite sure on that, but you call me. I think you're okay on that, but call me or email me, either way, and I'll get back with you on that.
And I was just going to franchisee thing. It's definitely not true that all franchises will be listed on that list.
No, it's not. And some are declined.
Well, actually, there was language in our franchise agreement for the 12